A reading from the first book of Kings. Ahab sent to all the children of Israel and had the prophets assemble on Mount Carmel. Elijah appealed to all the people and said, "How long will you straddle the issue? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal, follow him." The people, however, did not answer him. So Elijah said to the people, "I am the only surviving prophet of the Lord. There are 450 prophets of Baal. Give us 2 young bulls. Let them choose one, cut it into pieces, and place it on the wood, but start no fire. I shall prepare the other and place it on the wood, and shall start no fire. I shall prepare the other and place it on the wood, and shall start no fire. You shall call on your gods, and I will call on the Lord. The God who answers with fire is God." All the people answered, "Agreed." Elijah then said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose 1 young bull and prepare it first, for there are more of you. Call upon your gods, but do not start the fire." Taking the young bull that was turned over to them, they prepared it and called on Baal from morning to noon, saying, "Answer us, Baal." But there was no sound, and no one answering. And they hopped around the altar they had prepared. When it was noon, Elijah taunted them, "Call louder, for he is a god and may be meditating, or may be retired, or may be on a journey. Perhaps he is asleep and must be awakened." They called out louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, as was their custom, until blood gushed over them. Noon passed, and they remained in a prophetic state until the time for offering sacrifice. But there was not a sound. No one answered, and no one was listening. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come here to me." When the people had done so, he repaired the altar of the Lord that had been destroyed. He took 12 stones for the number of tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the Lord has said, "Your name shall be Israel." He built an altar in honor of the Lord with the stones and made a trench around the altar, large enough for 2 measures of grain. When he had arranged the wood, he cut up the young bull and laid it on the wood. "Fill 4 jars of water," he said, "and pour it over the burnt offering and over the wood." "Do it again," he said, and they did it again. "Do it a 3rd time," he said, and they did it a 3rd time. The water flowed around the altar, and the trench was filled with water. At the time for offering sacrifice, the prophet Elijah came forward and said, "Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done all these things by your command. Answer me, Lord. Answer me, that this people may know that you, Lord, are God, and that you have brought them back to their senses." The Lord's fire came down and consumed the burning wood, stones, and dust, and it lapped up the water in the trench. Seeing this, all the people fell prostrate and said, "The Lord is God. The Lord is God." The word of the Lord. Keep me safe, O God, for you are my hope. Keep me, O God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, my Lord are you. They multiply their sorrows and court other gods. Blood libations to them I will not pour out, nor will I take their names upon my lips. O Lord, my allotted portion and cup, you it is who hold fast my lot. I set the Lord ever before me. With him at my right hand, I shall not be disturbed. You will show me the path to life, fullness of joys in your presence, the delights at your right hand forever.
Teach me your path, O God, my God, and guide me in your truth. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish the law, but to fulfill. Howbeit I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or the smallest part of a letter will pass from the law, until all things have taken place. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys and teaches these commandments will be called greatest in the kingdom of heaven." The Gospel of the Lord. Good morning. It says here, not to abolish, but to fulfill. So I think I have to go away to fulfill, to do God's will. Well, we heard a beautiful story of Elijah on Mount Carmel, and remember last Monday, it was the Sermon of the Mount, two sacred mountains telling us about to obey and to follow God's will, to know that we have God who is the greatest, the mighty God, and for people to obey, to follow, and for us to have faith. It says it's not only knowing the will of God, but with devotion, with wholehearted devotion to obey and to live God's will. In our gospel today, we can recall also that Jesus was probably accused of being violators of the law, like violating Sabbath day. He cured someone on the Sabbath day. And Jesus did not violate the law or any law in his time. He just told people and telling us the real meaning of the Sabbath, the real meaning of the law. It's not scrupulous, like because it's a Sunday, because it's obligatory, and we come. But Jesus is trying to tell us faithfulness to the love, the bond, the covenant that we have with God. It's not that because we are afraid, but because of this love that binds us with God. Commitment to live and to follow the will of the Father. One of the things of having this law, we tend to be like legalistic. Well, the issue of legalism also tells us that because it's legal, so it seems to be correct and right. Probably one of the things, and we can say, because abortion is legal, and we seem to agree to it, that it's correct, and probably we have to follow. But I think Elijah inspires us. I notice some of you are asking blessing before you go to abortion clinic. You are doing right. And like Elijah, telling them, do that because I will tell you about God and how mighty God is. And the life of Elijah is inspiring us to follow God's will and to tell people about the will of God.